Redditors from lesser known countries, what misconceptions does the rest of the world have about your country? Malta. That it doesn't exist. Been to Malta. Loved it. Want to visit again. Ethiopia. People think it's full of hungry people. They never got Ethiopia. The existence of Luxembourg. Haha. Luxembourg exists entirely to provide cheap cigarettes to the French. Change my mind. Not me, but I dated a woman from Liechtenstein. People thought it was a joke. Kenya. People have somehow got it into their heads that this country is made up of wild animals and runners. Now, it's getting dark. I need to rush home because it can be dangerous outside at this time. I lived in Kenya for 6 months. I loved it. Lived in Nakuru. I miss my friends so much. However, my friends, locals, many times told me don't walk around at night, alone. Cough. Kazakhstan. Cough. Borat. Cough. Costa Rica is not an island. From Czechia, some people still think we are still Czechoslovakia. We split in 1993. Spent 2 glorious months in Prague and the rest of the country. What a glorious place. It's all desert and it's full of, pun intended, hunger. I'm from Tunisia if you're wondering. That we have a siesta every day. It's not true. Sometimes we have 2. Joking. I never have a nap after lunch, but it's true that most of the old people do. Mongolia. No, we don't still live in yurts and ride horses every day. Now if you'll excuse me, there's a village that needs raiding. Indonesian here. Tourists always thought Bali is a country. Singapore. We are our own country, not part of China or Malaysia. We're a principality. The name sounds like a large aquatic mammal. We don't shag sheep. We sent them off to Australia, NZ and Patagonia. Welcome to Lanfetwagwing Gilgajarech and Roblan Tisilia Gogagoch. Portugal is not a place in Spain. My ancestors did not fight the Spaniards for 300 years for people to think we say gracious. If you play Plague Inc. and click Portugal, the whole peninsula will be highlighted as Spain. I know Switzerland may not be that unknown, but people actually believe that we were innocent and youthful throughout both world wars, but we really did some fricked up crap. We had a camp for internees in the Second World War where the internees were heavily abused by a commander that was a sympathist of the Nazis. We also never honored Paul Gruninger throughout his lifetime. He saved a few thousand Jews by faking their date of arrival. We closed our borders for any refugees. We were the ones that proposed Germany to mark Jews in their passports so we could easier decline them. We sent the Jews back to Germany and Austria knowing they faced death. We traded with stolen gold of the Nazis. We traded with Germany till April 1945. Our government also didn't acknowledge Jews as refugees and the terrible things the Nazis did. We were far from innocent. I did not know any of this. Thank you for enlightening me. Singapore. We won't cane you if you chew gum in Singapore. That Denmark is not a socialist nation, or for God's sake communist. Kenya. Not everyone is trying to fleece you, and not the whole place is either a slum or a game reserve. Singapore is not in China. That's not what China told me. Tunisia. All the misconceptions about African countries in general, when in fact I didn't see a black person until I was 20 years old, and we are very racist. I live in a major city and only seen 3 or 4 homeless people in my life. We are very open-minded, and girls from my country are considered S in other Arab countries because we are very open-minded. We dress as we wish, we go to nightclubs, study at mixed schools. Having a boyfriend is accepted in most families except Mayo. I as a Moroccan here, I can literally say same to every single thing you just listed. But add on top of that a fricked up government that cust ignores what is going on with ZFZFRN. We don't speak Mandarin despite writing in tradition Chinese, and we were the reason that China wasn't sanctioned to death after Cultural Revolution and Tiananmen massacre. We are from Hong Kong, a former colony that was stripped away the rights to claim independence once China joined the UN. Austria. We don't run around in lederhosen all year round and drink beer all day. Also 99% of the people here can't yodel, and even though we're known for the Alps, not all of Austria has high mountains. We don't have kangaroos, and we're truly sorry for Hitler and make people think he's German. No kangaroos in Austria. Liechtenstein. Wait, what's that? Is a city? No, it's a small country in between Switzerland and Austria. The only thing we have going for us is that half the world doesn't even know we exist. I'm from Malaysia. We actually have developed cities with skyscrapers, lots of nice beaches, and great food. We are often overshadowed by Singapore or Thailand in those terms. Crazy Rich Asians, the movie, had a lot of locations actually filmed in Malaysia. It seems like people only know about the country cause of the missing planes. For me it's the opposite. When I think of Malaysia I think of cities like Kuala Lumpur and an industrialized country economy. I was surprised to learn they have several indigenous groups on the peninsula that still live very traditional lifestyles. People think that everything easter than Germany is Russia. Also, when we speak English we all kinda sound like Russians but not exactly. Island. We're not drunk all of the time. Most of the time, yeah, but not all of the time. In Latvia, the potato situation really isn't that dire. I have at least 2 potato. Secret police will be at door soon. We are not Slovakia. Yes, Melania is from here. I wonder, if she gets divorced, do we get the left or right half of the US? Bosnia and Herzegovina. Most of the people don't even know it exists. In USA people think I'm from Boston, ha 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 ha. Some ask me, is the war still going on? I was born in 1995 after the war ended. When I land in Germany or Austria they always check me for unreported cigarettes and alcohol in a way I would sell them on black market. Passing through EU borders is always pain in the ass because they think I am going to perform criminal activities. But funny thing is that in China my country is so well known after World War II Yugoslavian movie Walter defends Sarajevo. Switzerland. That we speak German. We do, but we also kinda don't. I've only been to Zurich and Bern, and Swiss German was the only language I heard the locals speak. I was expecting French. A lot of people don't know Bahrain exists. People that do just think of it as a mini UAE, the country that Dubai is in. It is the only country from the rich Persian Gulf states that had major instability during the Arab Spring, ending in a Saudi military intervention. I only know of its existence because of F1. Colombia. No, we all aren't drug traffickers. We don't listen Despacito 24/7. We aren't 99.9% jungle and we are not called Colombia. Colombia is actually a very nice place to live in. We have some gorgeous landscapes and the people are always happy. Violence, well, strong, is not in its prime anymore. But the coffee bit is true though. Well, while traveling around US, I got a lot of, oh that's where Trump wife is from. No, that's the other one. Basically people know nothing, either confuse us with Slovenia, or use films as Eurotrip or Hostel, trying to tell me it's how it is. Slovakia isn't some sort of hellish Eastern European dystopia place. It's normal, yet kinda boring country I guess. We are culturally closer to Czechs, well obviously, or Austrians, than other parts of Eastern Europe. Also it's central, however not to be only bad. I met a few people who said they visited Bratislava, and even one couple from Philadelphia who visited mountains. Growing up in the UK, people thought my Slovak mum was Polish. Then, when I lived there for a year, and tried to get a parcel sent over to myself, the post office told my mum they couldn't guarantee delivery because of the war. This was in 1993. My magazine subscriptions kept getting sent to Russia. Mexico. That all men have a mustache and a sombrero. It's actually women as well. Also 5 de Mayo isn't that big of a deal and most importantly is not our Independence Day. That we have vampires, and some are really serious about it. Scotland. Probably most people have heard of us, but everyone outside of Scotland seems to have bizarre ideas of what life is like here. Hardly anyone eats haggis. Also, haggis is not an animal. Kilts are reserved for important events, weddings etc. No one wears a tam o' shanter, ever. We are actually really nice and welcoming to foreigners. In Glasgow anyway. It's not necessarily the same all over. Certainly a bit less so in Edinburgh. But we're generally nice. We have the same amount of ginger folk as the rest of the world. It's much the same as anywhere else. Not a bunch of wee villages without power, modern amenities etc. Not as rural and green as you'd think. We don't all know each other. This place is bigger than you think. The accent you hear on TV is not how we all sound. There's a different accent every few miles here. No one has ever said ark either, no, ever. We don't survive on deep fried everything. Not even deep fried Mars bars. We don't all hate the English. We aren't drunk all the time. We don't have Kayleys in place of normal parties. You're not from here. I'm looking at you, Americans. I'm from Uruguay. That we are all gay. I mean, there are gay people, but not all population. Thanks Homer. Also we are not in a tropical forest. In South America we think of Uruguay as the fake account of Argentina. Probs about Finnish people being always silent AF. But majority of Finnish people actually like to talk, except small talk. That crap is fucking stupid. The obvious stereotype is that you're all piled up in saunas all day, and I know enough Finns to know that this is 100% true. Switzerland. I'm not from Sweden. Small country. People don't have misconceptions about it because they don't know it exists. We are the only country to kill and eat our coat of arms while classing them as pests. Albania. People think we are all either involved with the mafia or are drug dealers. This is mostly from the movie Taken. Curaçao. Technically an island. No, we don't live in huts on the beaches. Yes, the majority of the population has access to decent internet. No, we don't speak English as our main language, and when we do speak it we don't sound like Jamaicans. Yes, we own cars. No, the entire island is not a slum. And no, we don't spend all day playing games under the trees. It's expensive to live there, so we all need to work to make a living. Estonia. People think that either we are all Russians, everyone speaks Russian, or our language and culture is very similar to Russian. All of these are false. Most young people can barely say a few swear words in Russian, and the older generation knows them only because of living under the Soviet rule in their youth. Others believe that the Baltic states share the same culture and language. Estonian is a completely separate language, most closely tied to Finnish and a bit to Hungarian. Latvian and Lithuanian are in a completely different language tree. Some people also seem to have the idea that we live in a post-Soviet dystopian world which is underdeveloped, no internet and scarce clean water, while Estonia is actually one of the most developed IT countries in the world, and we have plenty of water, no worries. Mexico. We are not bad hombres. You've been visited by the cool dude dog. You will be blessed with coolness if you comment, catch a wave papa. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video, or don't. Either way, have a great day you magnificent people.